2K Sports. You're watching the NBA. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It'll be the Toronto Raptors facing off against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And with the opening tip, let's go out to Oklahoma City and join our broadcast team of Kevin Harlan, Clark Kellogg, and Steve Kerr.
And the Thunder going through their pregame routine. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA on 2K Sports. With Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Doris Burke will be along, too, from the sideline. A quick check now at the starting five for both teams. First, for the Raptors, Lowry and DeRozan, they're the backcourt. And at the 5, the 5th overall pick in the 2011 draft, a fleet-footed 6'11" big man out of Lithuania, Jonas Valanciunas. Then there's Rudy Gay, and it's Johnson in at the 4 spot. And for Oklahoma City, the backcourt is Westbrook and Cephalosha. And in the paint, holding down the pivot of physical and bruising big man at 6'10", Big Perk, Kendrick Perkins. And it's Durant, and it's Ibaka in at the power forwards position.
You know, it wasn't a surprise that the Raptors struggled on the road. Most young teams do. They were 13 and 28 as a visiting team. They did end the year looking a lot more dangerous on the road than they started, though.
Well, Clark, you were talking about the Raptors' struggles on the road. They didn't have the best road record at the end of the season, as you said, but, Steve, they did show some bite with their play.
You know, one of the interesting stats from the Raptors last year is they actually scored more points on the road than they did at home, and that rarely happens in the NBA. But I think the big thing with Toronto, their defense has to improve more than anything else.
Now, here is Lowry after the miss from Perkins. Lowry dishes to Johnson. The feed to Gay. Puts the lead pass in front of him. No good from Valanciunas.
Terrific defense at the rim. They got right in his path.
You know, that's part of what great defenders do. They get not only in your path, but in your head a little bit, too.
Ibaka, no luck.
It's one thing to intimidate with your play, and it's another to get in the face of a player's shot you just blocked. Last season, Ibaka took it to that next level and ruffled some feathers by doing just that.
Now here's Gay. Outside Lowry. Just 4 to shoot. Toronto needs to get off his shot. The 3. Can't get it to go. And it's Oklahoma City the other way. And speaking of Ibaka getting feisty, I remember seeing him get into it. In fact, with Coach Brooks when he was subbed out of a game, there was that flagrant foul against Blake Griffin. He's got a fuse.
Well, he's showing a little bit of a hot-headed streak, Kevin. I like that. A little feistiness. You like that from your big men. You know, you want them to be tough.
Showing emotion.
Exactly.
Passion.
As long as you control the emotion.
Well said, Steve. That's good from Durant.
Usually the logic is that if you want to win the West, you need to get a lot of wins against the East to pad your record, guys. But the Thunders did dominate the East last season, but not as much as the other teams, and they still won the West.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. Well, getting back to the Thunder, as you said, Clark, they took the East to task once again. We're 21-9 against the conference. But, Steve, that was just tied for the 3rd best in the West.
You know, I think a big part of that is that after they made it to the finals for the first time, they played with a target on their back. And I thought every team in the league knew they had to bring their A game to try to kind of make a statement against the Thunder.
Now here's Durant and the pass to Cephalosha. Good work defensively by Lowry.
Well defended, and he's not someone who responds well to that kind of defensive pressure.
It's Gay with the drive. Inside. Here's Valanciunas. Here's Johnson. They shoot again. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. That one on Perkins.
Yeah, he always gives the fans a temporary souvenir, it seems like, blocking 2 or 3 shots into the 10th row. Of course, you got to give the ball back, so very temporary souvenir.
They're going to have to change that because in baseball, when they knock those foul balls, they don't go check
You can keep them, that's right.
Yeah, same with the NFL. If the ball happens to get by the net, you can keep the ball.
That, right. Well, we need to change that in basketball.
I agree.
You know, that's exactly right. And what also comes to mind with him is his persistence on the offensive boards. His second chance points always add up.
And he misses the second one as well, so he is 0 for 2 that time.
Well, no team likes to have their first-round pick belong to another team. It gets worse when you're a lottery team yourself and you're trying to build your talent base up. But the Raptors' number 12 pick in this summer's draft went to one of the elite teams in Oklahoma City.
Well, Clark, as you said, the Thunder got the Raptors' first selection this last year. Only the way the Raptors would have been able to hang on to it was, Steve, if they jumped up to the top 3 in the lottery.
And as bad as it might seem for the Raptors to have not had a first, I mean, and it is bad, it was as good as any other time for them to not have a first-round pick because the draft wasn't deep, and the Raptors have a lot of young talent already and that they can make improvement with.
Terrence Ross is checked in for Toronto. And he makes the first, but misses the second.
You know, it wasn't that the Thunder were beating teams last season. Everybody expected that, but it was the way they were blowing out teams on such a regular basis that caught everybody's attention.
Now, here is Lowry. Pass to Ross. Oh, and it looks like that's going to be a goaltending call. Yep, that's it. So they'll get the basket.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
And the crowd immediately letting the officials have it after that whistle.
A very unpopular call there.
Toronto shooting their 3rd free throw attempt of the game.
Well, this was a very consistent free throw shooting team a year ago. They shot about 79%.
And you can't take those numbers lightly, fellas. I mean, their free throw shooting made a difference for them in a lot of their games last season.
Here's Westbrook. First quarter of ball, almost 2.5 minutes in. Now let's send it over to Doris Burke, who was able to talk with Scott Brooks.
And he said a big factor in this game will be how well they're able to handle Kyle Lowry. He admitted being a fan of his game, saying he's a tough athletic guard who really competes. Defense, rebounding, attack the paint, he'll take it to you. We've got to be ready to match his motor and his aggressiveness. Kevin, are they up to it?
Thanks, Doris. And Westbrook throws it down hard. Savage, that's the way to get some momentum on your side.
Absolutely. Those dunks can really have a deflating effect on the defense.
Especially coming from a guy out of the backcourt.
Here's Lowry. The Thunder making the shot. He feeds it to Ross. Offensive rebound. Johnson. And it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
Rebounding is going to be the focal point for them in this one, fellas. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's a physical game, and so far the numbers show that they got the edge on the glass.
A new group in now for the Raptors. Bashim Thabit, he's checked in for Perkins. Collison comes in for Serge Ibaka. Jeremy Lamb's checked in for Cephalosha. And Reggie Jackson subbed in for Russell Westbrook.
Well, you know, it seems that Amir Johnson is the kind of player who's always in and out of a starting lineup. Never really had a chance to lock down that starting role for an extended period of time last year, but was pretty good when he did get the nod.
Backing down is Gay. He sinks the 11-footer.
You know, he'll make you scratch your head and throw your hands up as a defender. I mean, you just don't know how to play him.
But Thunder have gone 2 of 6 from the field. Jackson kicks to Thabit. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time. And for Amir Johnson, it's pretty unbelievable, but he's approaching a decade in the NBA. The kid from Los Angeles, it just seemed like the other day, you know, he was just coming to the league. Just 26 years of age, and here he is, almost a decade in the league.
Yeah, drafted out of Westchester High School in Los Angeles. You wonder how his development would have been different if he'd gone the college route, but he does seem to be coming on now the last couple of seasons. Well, he didn't quit on the play. He defended the shot, contested it, and then got back straight to the glass.
Jackson, that's good.
The soft finger roll is just one of the many finishing moves he has in his bag of shot making.
Lowry against Jackson. The drive by Lowry. Back to Johnson. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot two.
You know, you got to love the way that Amir Johnson attacks around the rim, whether it's, looking to finish off a play or grab a rebound or block a shot. You love his no-nonsense approach to defending and finishing in the lane.
The first free throw is good. And Amir Johnson, not just a finisher, Clark, around the rim, a shot blocker, a pretty good defender.
Yeah, he's got excellent length for a power forward, and he's put some rocks in his pockets over the years. He's become better able to hold his ground inside. Folks, that means basically he's added some weight, is what's happened with Amir.
And the Raptors making a change here. Fields checked in. And both free throws good for Johnson.
You know, it appeared to be another season where the Raptors would be near the bottom of the league, but while the terms rock bottom and embarrassing floated around, they made some moves and were able to go on a run to climb towards the middle of the pack.
Kept alive. Collison, good.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball into the paint.
Yeah, they've been the aggressors, Clark, and getting the ball inside into that lane area has been huge for them.
Here is Ross. 16 seconds left in the first quarter of the game. He dishes it to Augustine. With the lead pass. Stolen. Oh, and a fast break for Oklahoma City. And leading the charge. It'll count. And that's not going to go. And so the first quarter is in the books. It's the Thunder. They lead by 4. Stay with us as we get set to bring you the second quarter right after this. The second quarter beginning in just a moment. What do you guys think about the Thunder here in this one?
And the defense has been key in building this lead. They've really clamped down hard.
They've done a nice job, Steve. I think challenging every shot, a hand up on every shot.
Raptors trail by 4. Augustine with it. He kicks to Fields. Dishes to Augustine. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Augustine's got the opening basket here in the second quarter for Toronto. So it's the Thunder now. And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Guys, Kevin Durant last season joined the exclusive 180 club. Over 50% from the field, 40% from three-point territory, and 90% from the line. It's the gold standard of shooting efficiency, something only 5 other players have done in NBA history. It was a goal of his going into the season, but his ultimate goal still remains, to win an NBA title. He said, quote, "The hunger is always there. That's my goal every year, to get to the top of the mountain." Guys, he knows it's a long road, but they've gotten so close. We'll see if this is his year.
Yeah, championship mentality, Doris. Good point. Thanks. Timeout is called. First of the game for the Thunder. Kyle Lowry. He's checked in for Landry Fields. Just over 1 minute has passed here in the second quarter. On the wing, Jackson. Now recovering. Puts it up from 15. Toronto grabs the miss.
Rudy Gay is clearly a player with star potential, guys. He's got size, skill, elite athleticism. He's in his 8th season now, and he's looking to put it all together and make his first All-Star team. Beautiful feed off the bounce to his teammate there. Nicely done.
Oklahoma City trailing. Jackson down low, while recovering. The beat can't get it to go. And for Rudy Gay, a score, a terrific rebound. He can do it all.
I think for him, it's the little things that will put him over the top. Just better shot selection, better focus defensively. But there's no doubt about it. He's one of the most talented players in the NBA, and that's why Toronto made the trade for him last year.
The Thunder have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones, a long time without a basket.
They got to find some, you're right.
They've been getting it inside at every opportunity and getting results, too.
It's a great formula, and it's really a sign that the offense is clicking.
Here's Lowry. Kevin Durant picking up that last basket. Lowry kicks to Gay. There's the triple. That falls. Nice feed that time from Kyle Lowry. Lowry's got 3 assists in the game. Thunder trailing by 4.
Put together a great team, fans can get a little wild. When you put together a great team that's exciting to watch too, then they really get wild. And that's what you have to deal with when you go to Oklahoma City. A great team with terrific fans.
The shot by Gay, and that one hits back iron.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
Lamb, Cephalosha. He's covered by Gay, and that one's good. And Toronto has possession. And back to these great fans in Oklahoma City. They hosted the Hornets for 1 season in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, you recall. And Steve really showed what a great crowd they could be for a team.
Kevin, I agree. And I think that season when they hosted the Hornets, I think that showed the league that Oklahoma City was ready to become a franchise. And that's why the move from Seattle to Oklahoma City was allowed by the league, because the city had proven that they would support the club.
So timeout called here, the first for Toronto.
You know, so much has been said about the Oklahoma City home court advantage, and for good reason. I mean, you can feel it and hear it like a college atmosphere.
That's a good point. Amir Johnson's checked in for Toronto. .57 left to play here in the half. And Fields kicks to Lowe. Gay outside. Shot clock at 6. Back to Lowry. Off target with his 3. Clark, back to what you said. Not only can you hear it when they are here, you can literally feel it. The rumbling, Steve, when you first come out of the tunnel is amazing.
Well, the Thunder have a fantastic team, Kevin, and they've been good the last few years, but you don't go 34-7 at home like they did last season without a significant advantage coming from the crowd. And I think that's been the case here. The crowd is loud and active and fired up every single night.
And that one falls for Jackson.
So often teams that are near the bottom of the East tend to get drummed by the Western Conference teams, and that was the story last season for the Raptors. Had some close games and even a few upsets, but out west they didn't fare very well.
Here's what Toronto's going with right now. Aaron Gray, he's checked in for Hansbrough, and it's DeRozan in for Rudy Gay. That one misses. Well, picking up that talk again on the Raptors. Teams out west have so many great forwards to deal with that when you try and go up against them with the stretch 4 like the Raptors have had, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, particularly rebounding and defensively, Kevin. That's one of the reasons Toronto traded Bargnani to the Knicks in the offseason. They wanted to be a little better in terms of being physical, being more punishing with their post players, and having a better defensive presence.
Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Kevin, the Thunder are often seen as getting into one another during games in what looks like heated arguments. But that is the culture they want, as every player can hold each other accountable. Coach Scott Brooks describes it saying, "I'm with them every day." Did they have some competitive moments? Absolutely. But that's how we work here. We challenge each other. It gets chippy. You can't argue with the results, even if it looks like they are always at each other's throats, guys.
I believe it. Those must make for some good battles, Doris. Thanks. Andrew Fields on the wing. Back to Lowry. Pass to DeRozan. Toronto working the ball around now. That's good from Lowry on the assist from DeRozan.
Those are starting to add up. Of their last 5 baskets, 3 of them have been three-pointers.
And it's not just great offense, Clark. The defense is really lacking. Not enough energy on their closeout.
A nice shot by Collison. So it's Toronto now. Right side Lowry. The dish to DeRozan. Back to Lowry. And he lobs it up toward the rim. Out of bounds. Oklahoma City takes possession.
Boy, just a brain cramp, guys. I mean, that should have been the simplest of exchanges.
Here is Durant. With 1 on the clock. Second quarter ends in a tight one. Raptors lead by 2. And it's time now for the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce. We'll be back shortly to get the second half underway.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Sunday action is in full swing, so let's break down the first half for you. Toronto leading against the Thunder at Chesapeake Energy Arena. And give them credit defensively. They're boxing out, controlling their defensive backboards. DJ Augustine making the most of his minutes. And Rudy Gay is also making his presence felt. And Oklahoma City's also looking good in the first half. They've been having their way inside. A huge lead when it comes to points in the paint, making it very hard to defend against them. And that's all we have for you here in the studio. Now let's send it on back to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke for the second half of play.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.